I got to consent to record now.
Yes, you got to consent to record because we are doing Pocket Change. Yes, the Pocket Change podcast, everybody. Thank you all for stopping by.
Wow.
We're a well-kept secret, unfortunately for us. But hey, thank you. Have a great day. While you're listening to this, or night, or evening, or I don't know, just taking a shit on the toilet. Whatever you're doing, I'm glad you're here to watch us. I'm joined by my co-host, Joe. Joe, how you doing? Hey, I've heard people, listen to the podcast in the shower.
Listen.
If we can help somebody have a good bowel movement, I say do it.
If you listen to us in the shower, rub-a-dub-dub. But if you listen to us while you're doing number 2 on the toilet, hey, bless your heart. But if it helps everything come out all right, I guess we're all right. I don't even know what to say to that, folks. I've never been hit with, hey, your voice makes me want to take a dump. Never been hit with that before, but hey, it is what it is.
All right, well,
we're glad you're here.
I know
wherever
what to say
you
to that.
are.
I know what to say to that.
Listen to us.
We'll say Pocket Change.
Pocket Change, where the stories are weird and the profits are strange. We win some, lose some, it's all fair play. Come ride a Pocket Change.
Yeah, it's change.
Go ride a Pocket Change. Pocket Change.
Yeah, they definitely changed the back room because it looked totally different when I was doing that.
They have changed some stuff on our program here, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else. They have definitely changed a few things. And now you got to get permission to record. And I feel like you and I are swapped too. Like I feel like we're swapped on the screens too. I mean, didn't you?
Yeah,
I don't know. Anyway, this is crazy.
We're not in our regular positions.
No, well, I'm not. I'm definitely not. And some of you may notice the background looks a little worse, whatever. But I'm sitting to the left side of my desk here, ladies and gentlemen and everyone, because, as you know, we was having some computer issues. So my wife and I were able to get on Best Buy, which I despise Best Buy, by the way. But we were able to get on there, and they were running some specials on some clearance computers. And so we bought 2 of them. And we actually got 2 for the price of what we were going to buy 1 for. So that's why we ended up getting 2. I can't complain. Don't know. Don't figure it's going to last as long as my old Reliable over there did. But I'll be shifting down as I get things transferred over. But I am trying this one in our recording here and see if it'll actually maybe do a little better. It's supposed to be faster, supposed to be Windows 11, all these good things. So, woohoo! But other than that, how was your week, man? How did it go? Did we do any listing? Did we sell any items?
I sold a little bit, but I'm still a piss poor reseller.
Notice what he skipped over, folks. He skipped. Yeah. I said, do we do any listing? I sold a little bit.
Yeah. I listed 4 things, and then I got sidetracked.
You have an AI.
I just did a manual. I know, I got to do that. I got to get the garage to a place. You know what? I have to rethink my whole life. I mean, I'm just this week I've been frustrated driving home, kept hitting traffic. I think I was talking to you that it took me 2-3 hours to get home one day.
The one day that they had 3-4 wrecks, and you weren't even across the bridge yet? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the only problem with my new job is it's on the other side of a bridge. And there's there's 2 bridges, but the other bridge is, if I go that way, I'm adding 35 minutes automatically. But this was the normal bridge, and dang it, people just need to learn how to drive. It rained, and then I don't understand, so there's 4 lanes, and then there's a shoulder on each side, and there's always somebody flying down those ones, man. That was, maybe I should do that. Just get out in the, but I would get pulled over instantly, or someone open the door and I'd kill somebody, I end up in prison, and then Bubba would be my boss. So I'm not going to do that. Because I need nicotine, people. Yeah, I'll do anything for nicotine in prison. Just saying.
Wow.
I'll hold somebody's pocket.
So tell us about your sales this week.
We talked on Friday. I'm like, yeah, I sell something every day. Since we talked, I haven't sold anything.
Oh,
So this weekend I didn't sell anything. Although I had a few inquiries about buckles that I probably could have sold the one, but they asked too many questions, and I just said block. You asked 14 questions about a $12 item. You're probably going to return it, or it's going to be a problem. I did get bad feedback this week. We'll talk about that when we get to the feedback section. Other than that, I sold a couple belt buckles. I did sell some. My sale of the week, which we'll get into later, was some baseball pins that I had. I have been relisting stuff, and on Friday I took my old promoted listings all down and started a new promotion. And I was like, oh yeah, that's got to be what's slowing me down. Yeah, I didn't sell anything with my new promotion, so I don't know if it takes a while to get into the zeitgeist or get out there. But, if you're watching this to learn how to sell, don't do what we do, do what we say. Or just stop by to talk. We're having a good time.
we can definitely tell you folks some things not to do if you're listening to this or watch it to learn how to sell. Now here's a couple things that are interesting. One, he was selling. He was bragging folks about how he was selling one a day, and he wasn't even listing. He was selling one. I'm still selling. I'm not listing. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, it's probably going to catch up with you, and it did. Now,
Don't brag.
honestly, how much did it catch up with him? I don't know. Probably not that much.
No, I'm still
because
selling.
he's got so many items there that listing is one of those things he needs to be doing if he wanted to sell a whole lot. But he's still going to sell at least a few items just because fair pricing, people searching for stuff. Now, let's say, and here's the thing, folks. I almost niched down one time, almost completely down to like pocket watches. And if I didn't list, I hardly sold at all. Of course, now that may have been, I don't have enough items. I don't know. I've been trying to get up in my items, and I keep selling down, and I'm like, oh, this is getting frustrating. It's such a bad problem to have.
Such a bad frustration.
When you're selling so that you can't get over 250. But I have been listing. I did say I was going to do that, and so I have been doing that and listing. I have been doing, like I said, I was doing a lot of, I can't remember what the term for it is. Folks, you'll have to remind me of the term. But basically, it's moving things, stacking things, and moving things to doing sell similar. And then I did a whole lot of new listings, used the AI again that we're paying for. We still need to go give that guy a shot on his.
I know.
Give that guy a ring out on his.
Hey, you hear that?
Oh, there you go. We just heard one, folks. Something just sold.
Let's see what that
And
is.
I know it was on your end because it didn't pop up on mine.
See? I just need to talk to you more often, and that helps.
So while he's pulling up that, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys. But I have been
It's a pocket watch.
I had a pretty good. He has sold a pocket watch. I had a pretty good week. So far, having a pretty good month. But I did want to get to one thing you was talking about there, Ben. So let's we'll put a brakes on and we'll move to our regular program. But we kind of like to take care of these things when they come up. But when you said I got like 14 questions. So, folks, in my experience, the people that tend to ask more questions, I do tend to sell the item if I take the time to answer their questions. It can be slightly annoying. I'm not going to answer 1,500 questions about a $5 to $10 item. So I used to. I don't anymore because here's the thing. You're going to realize a $5 item, a $10 item, you can understand you're generally going to make around, if you're doing things the right way or the normal way, you're going to make, when it shakes out, you're going to make around 50 to 70% of the value. So if you're sitting at a $5 item, do you really want to spend 2 hours of your time answering a bunch of questions to make $2.50? I don't. And I think that's what Ben's is talking about here.
No, it wasn't just that. It wasn't the fact that it wasn't really a low dollar. It was like a $16 belt buckle. So
I've been
plus shipping.
$8 to $12.
I made $12. That wasn't my problem. My problem was they said, "Can you give me the can you tell me the length and the width of this?" Well, there's a picture of that. So I reversed. I said, "Hey, check out this." But then I measured it because it happened to be in here. I measured it, sent it to them, say, "This is what it is," and they're like, it has rhinestones on it. Are all the rhinestones intact? I said, "Yeah, the item's functional and it's 100% functional and ready to go." And then they said, "Looking at the pictures, it's silver or gold?" I mean, it's definitely silver. And then they asked, hey, the little bump that goes into the belt buckle or the belt itself, the hook, the little bump that goes, is that there? I can't tell from the pictures. And I went and looked at the picture. You can see the hook. So I was just like, and then so maybe there's 6 questions. I don't know. I have to go back and look through.
Yeah, but it's the way they were asking.
Yeah, they were asking questions so that I could see that it was going to be bad. It was like a keyboard with hands that was covered in rhinestones. I don't know.
And
it just seemed like,
sometimes, folks, if you get a feeling, go with your gut.
yeah.
Go with your
So I
gut.
just blocked that person.
Because here's the thing, I've had, we've all had this happen, or if you're reselling and you're just getting new or whatever, you will have this happen, where somebody will buy something from you, and then they'll whatever to try to get it for free. That has happened to me now. eBay will the times it's happened to me, eBay has stepped in because one thing, make sure you're doing everything right. We talked about this, talked about it. We'll beat this dead horse as long as we can. Make sure you're shipping through eBay. Make sure you've taken all your pictures. Make sure you only discuss and talk on eBay. Don't give them your email address so you can email back and forth. Don't give them your cell phone or text or use WhatsApp, because I've had that. Can't we use WhatsApp? No. We can talk here through Messenger on eBay. What is that beeping? Are you sending a satellite into space?
No, it's the backyard. You turn my volume down.
Sounds like
if I get another sale, you won't be able to hear it.
Well, you'll tell us.
I doubt I will.
But I mean, so sometimes, I see what he's saying here. Sometimes you can just tell by the questions they're asking. You're like, you either want it or you don't, and it sounds to me like what you're getting ready to do is try to rip me off. Now,
yeah, I think that seemed like to me it was going to be a problem when they got it. They were asking so many questions that they were looking for an issue not to buy it, so then don't buy it.
Right. Or they're looking for an issue. They're like, okay, I'm going to buy it, and then they're going to make a big deal afterwards and try to get their money back or whatever. And that happens, folks. It does. Rarely, just like we've talked about. I don't remember who it was. They have returns every week. And I don't know how many sales you have to have a return every week. I mean, I'd love to be in that position. But so far, I don't have returns every week. I don't think Ben's has returns every week.
No.
And Ben sells quite a bit. Now, he could sell more if he get back to using this.
Yeah, I will sell more soon. I got to get back to it. And I went out today to some estate sales. That's why I was running late for the podcast. I got sidetracked at one. I was talking to somebody. And then I'm looking for higher dollar stuff. So that's what I think I need to do.
Are we going to be doing a pick or pass in this episode? Did you find something?
Yeah, I got a pick or pass. I thought we were doing a pick or pass. We got a pick or pass.
I got one too, but I never know.
Yeah, we got a pick or pass. And did you bring your joke?
Oh, I forgot my joke. I'm fluid though, baby. I can get a joke.
You can get one going.
I can get a joke. Give me just a second. I can have us a joke. I'm good with jokes.
All right, you want to do the joke now?
Well, you can go ahead and do yours, but I won't be listening. So if you want me laughing, it won't happen.
Well, I got it. You got to see if you get it or not. That's part of the deal. If who's funnier, or if the other person gets it right, then you automatically win by default.
Oh, I won't be funnier. I like dad jokes.
No, that's what I got. I didn't get, I don't have any. Well, I got some really good jokes, but, I'm trying not to offend here.
Are you saying you're offensive?
Slightly.
No. Folks, we don't
Me?
find Ben's offensive.
That's crazy. Oh.
We don't find him offensive at all.
I mean, my joke, it could be dirty, but it's not. But, I mean, I'll tell the 2 different ways.
Okay, go ahead. Tell your jokes. I got mine coming up.
You got it?
Mm-hmm. I got mine. You want me to give my jokes?
No. Why is Cinderella so bad at basketball?
Because she wears crystal or glass slippers.
That's a good answer, but that's not it. She keeps running away from the ball.
Okay.
And it could be, why is Cinderella so bad at sex? Same answer. She keeps running away from the ball. What's your joke?
What do you call a fish that wears a bow tie?
Poindexter.
Sophisticated.
Sophisticated. Oh, okay. That's good.
Boom, boom, boom. But I don't know, folks. Ben's wanting to do dad jokes. He wanted to incorporate that into our thing. So
We're going to have one joke a show. A good short.
somebody just literally ran off the road right there. I'm never listening to these guys again. But anyway, back to eBay reselling. So let's talk a little bit about how about feedback for the week. Let me talk about mine first because we want to deep dive into yours. So I'm up to 147 now, folks. Just letting you know. But I have not received any feedback since the as described a few weeks ago, except automated feedback.
Okay.
So in other words, I keep getting the automated feedback. It's all positive, but it's the automated. So really, feedback really counts a lot this day and time, folks. It really does. I think it actually counts more now, but it's harder to get. And you can't go ask for it. You can't, because while our numbers are going up, if they're going and reading it, you got to be, you want it to be what you're seeing.
Yeah.
But go ahead and I don't know. My wife just sent me something here, folks. So, Ben, talk about your feedbacks. You said you got some bad feedback this week. Let's talk about those kinds of things. That's going to happen, folks. And you're going to get bad feedback. We've all got it. It's all happened.
Yeah, so remember how I was talking on the last show, trying to figure out a more economical way to ship my comic books that are like $4 or $5. Well, I bought pieces of cardboard instead of the boxes that you put them in, and then I would put the comic book on there and then tape it in four corners with painter's tape, and put another piece of cardboard over it, and then tape all four corners with tape.
Sounds like a winner to me.
Yeah. So I got negative feedback. Shipping was reasonable. The only reason for the negative review is the comic bag it came in was bad. Which I don't remember the comic bag itself being bad, but it was torn on the side, unsealed, it had been ripped. The comic did not come boarded at all. It wasn't a boarded comic because it wasn't boarded to begin with, and I just sell whatever I got. The comic came in a white parcel bag sandwiched between two pieces of cardboard instead of in a sturdier, more rigid magazine comic book / cover. The comic book came in a bit curved because of the poor packaging, sadly. The person never reached out to me. I would have given them all his money back. So I left him feedback. I said, thank you for the feedback. I'm sorry it arrived in this way. I'm new to selling comic books. Trying a new packaging method. I can see how it wasn't the best approach from your feedback. I truly appreciate you pointing this out. This will help me improve. I'd be happy to give you a full refund to make this right. Just reach out to me. Thank you again for your honest feedback and helping me do better in the future.
And have you heard anything back?
I have not. I probably should have reached out to him directly, but you know what? He already left a negative feedback.
And that's the thing. I mean, I'm not. If you leave me negative feedback, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not offering you a refund.
Yeah.
I mean, now I did have one that left me a negative. I sent them a thing that said, "Hey, look, what's the deal here? I mean, tell me what's going on. Send it back. Whatever we need to do. Let's see if we can make this right." They changed it to neutral and went on, and I was like, "Okay."
That's cool.
But
and I had two other feedbacks this week. One was just fast shipping, ! And the other one was MAGA, Make America Great Again. Which is crazy because he bought a Chinese socket. So I'm not sure what that's about. So it's a weird feedback for a Chinese socket.
Make America Great Again. Give me a Chinese socket. Yeah, I don't know about that. And maybe he meant to spell something else. I don't know.
No, it's all capitalized. MAGA. MAGA.
Whatever.
Just must be his feedback. I'm
It's
just going to put
positive,
MAGA.
right? It's
Yeah,
positive,
it's
right?
positive. I'm not questioning Jack.
It's positive, folks. Here's the thing. I mean, and sometimes you get positive level, but they leave a bad comment. I mean, I don't know, but take all the positive you can get because you're going to get some negatives. The big thing about the negatives is be sure to. I like to report it or do whatever you call it, where you try to get it resolved. I like to do those kind of things, and then I also reply where it says allows the seller to reply. Now, a lot of times too, folks, if they don't respond and they don't whatever, I mean, I've only done this once, but I don't just give automatic feedback. Some sellers have got it set because they want it to be more automated. I don't do that. I go in and I leave feedback for everybody. And
Nice.
so if you've left me bad feedback or you've left me neutral feedback or whatever, and I try to respond to you to resolve it, and you don't, then I simply put on there, it has to be positive for the buyer. eBay doesn't let you leave negative feedback for a buyer, but I simply leave buyer refuses to work with me on complaint they had, because that lets other sellers know that, hey, this person is probably
Not a great buyer, but
yeah, because if they won't work with you, like Ben said, he left a reply. That guy, he got a notification there was a reply. He's already read it by now. He could have said,
Yeah.
you know what, I can change this to neutral. Even neutral. Let's see what this guy will do. Maybe he'll give me my money back.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was. Yeah. I would have done it.
Basically, and we don't like to get in the negative. We're not going to talk about who this seller was. We have in the past, but we're going to try not to do that anymore.
You have in the past. I never have.
Yeah, I have. Because when they really tick me off, I'm like,
I don't get pissy. I'm just like, oh, whatever. It's part of the business,
like,
man.
you're a dick. You're a dick. I mean, that's just all there is to it.
True that.
And I can be a dick, folks. I understand. I admit it too. But I try to be as fair on here as possible. Like, the one guy, and we'll go back to it. The one guy who left me bad feedback because he tried to extort me to get money back because I combined shipping. Well,
Yeah.
I had listed it at 4 ounces because that's the lowest you can list. Both items weighed 3 ounces apiece. I listed 4 ounces. That's the lowest you can list. That comes up to 8 ounces. When I put them together and combine shipping, 3 ounces plus 3 ounces is 6 ounces. It's in the same cost as 5 to 8, so it cost me the same. There was nothing to give back to him. Now, there was one other guy, I gave money back to him because when we put the items together, it came out that the weight was like 4 ounces, right, 3 point something. So I was like, 4 ounces it weighs. So I'm going to give him money back because he paid for 4 ounces twice, and yet it's weighing together. I don't mind doing that kind of thing, but I'm not going to short myself to give you money back. Now, in the case of damaged items, because my thing is on your feedback, if it really came through like that and was damaged, why couldn't he take pictures and send it over to you and say, hey,
Yeah.
my item came damaged?
I got the door open. My cat's in here. Come here. You see how big my cat's gotten?
Good Lord.
Yeah.
You're feeding that thing too good.
Yeah, okay.
He doesn't
Maine
like that.
Coon.
Yeah, he doesn't like that.
No, he doesn't like to be picked up. He wants his attention on his time, nobody else's. All right, now you're leaving.
Now you're leaving.
Yeah, he'll leave the building now.
But, as it's interesting. We always like to talk about feedback. You did get some good feedback, though. It was short.
Yeah, I got good feedback. I mean, it's fine. I mean, one bad comment, I'm not worried about that. It's not even worth trying to reach out to the guy and paying him back. I offered it in the reply. If he doesn't want to get back with me, that's fine.
Well, and sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. It's kind of crazy.
What was your sale of the week?
Well, that's what I was just pulling up right here with sale of the week. Probably my sale of the week is probably 2 penny folders that I listed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, folks. I will say this: pennies seem to be a great investment right now because since the Mint has discontinued them,
Yeah.
pennies seem to be actually going up in value more than 1 cent. There's already pennies that are worth a whole lot, but like every penny seems to be going up. And so I had some penny folders, still got some more pennies, decided to list those, and I actually made some good money on them. I think one of them holds like, I don't know, maybe 50 pennies, maybe 100 pennies. And yes, I know they're worth more, but some of them are worth money, some of them are worth less. I don't know. I wasn't going to look them all up. But,
Did you freeze or?
no, I was looking at something.
Okay, for a second.
But I just basically, they one sold for $14, a little over $14, and one sold for, because I did do because the guy had already bought one and he made me an offer on the other one.
Yeah.
I did a reduced thing just as a repeat buyer, and I told him, I said, I can put them together. I can save a little bit on shipping, blah, 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 blah. Went through the whole spiel, and he was like, sure. And he took my counter offer. So sold one of them for like a little over $14, and sold the other one for what I was asking for at $10.99. Put them together. So
nice.
That's probably my favorite sale of the week. The buyer was a really good buyer. I do not ask me to pronounce the name because I couldn't, but the buyer handle or whatever is Vink. I think is how you'd say it. V is in Victor, ENK, 1947.
Nice.
So, but very good buyer. If you see that buyer pop up, don't hesitate. But apparently they are a coin collector. So if you're selling coins, that might be somebody you want to kind of see if you can get them in your thing. But they paid quick. They took good deal. They didn't try to haggle too much. They tried to haggle a little bit, but I was like, look,
everybody wants a deal.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with going back and forth. And so, a great experience. I've just got another one that popped up a few minutes ago, another sale, so I'll have to fulfill that one this evening so I can make sure I get it in the mail.
Cool.
But, yeah,
you do 3 days, right? You still doing 3 days?
Yeah, I still do 3 days. No, I still do 3 days, but a lot of times I get it out before 3 days. Folks, I do 3 days all the time, but a lot of times I'm packing.
Yeah, they get excited you get it early. Lately, I've just been like, I got another day. Like, I got stuff I got to pack today that they'll have to ship till the 18th, and I'm like, yeah, I'm probably not going to do that till the 17th, because I'm a lazy eBay shipper.
See, I don't.
I got to change my mindset. My mindset is wrong. And I think that's what a lot of this is. It's mindset. And mine right now is just like I was going to get home, and I still hadn't even cleaned this room. Right? I mean,
you were going to get home and do all this stuff.
I was all excited. And now I just I'm watching, Monsters something or whatever on
what was that?
TV.
Now, you had a different job when you first came home, and you were getting home a little earlier.
Yeah, that's when I was doing the mail dancing. But now I'm back in distribution.
Then within the week, basically within a week, they switched you up, and now it's like you're back to work at 12-hour days. You've got to get.
I am, but it's gonna fix. It's gonna fix itself. So I was running a store, and I had to be there. So now I have to be to work earlier. Not really, but I am. So where I'm going to is now no longer in St. Pete. It's in Largo, which is the top of the thing instead of down here. So it was going to the bridge here on the back end, which if you look at the peninsula.
The bridge here. You gotta be careful about the roundabouts. Be careful.
So instead of going to the lower bridge, I'm going to the higher bridge. And that's also the thing that goes, the main drive into that area, and whatever. So if I leave the house at 5 a.m., I get to work at 5:45, right? If I leave the house, or if I leave at 5:15, I get there at 6 o'clock, right? So and my start time, I've decided is 6 o'clock.
You don't leave till 6:15, folks.
So if I decide, I could be working 8 o'clock. But if I leave the house at 6 o'clock, I don't get there till 7:45. That's the difference. So,
Yeah, but if you keep leaving at 6, you don't get home till 9.
I know, but there's
always
we're changing the district. We're changing all the leadership out of the building. I'm the manager of the building. I'm promoting someone to be my second. that I'm working through that. Once I do that, I will work 6 to 4. And I think if I leave there at 4 o'clock, I'll be out before most of the people are leaving work 5:30, and so I'll have 45 minutes to get home instead of an hour and a half,
Yeah.
or if
In
there's
the
an
car.
accident, 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
So even if it is an hour and a half, I'll be there at 4. I'm home by 5:30. Then I can do more. Now I get home at 7 o'clock. I cook some dinner and turn on the TV and sit down and watch my back end become wider. That's what I've been doing, man.
Well,
So.
and see, here's the thing. I think, folks, I think part of his demotivation is also the fact that he's reached a point where he is getting sales.
Yeah, I am getting sales
So
every
he
day.
is still getting sales. Now, the biggest thing is, I wonder if he's making, and we'll find this out soon enough, if he's making enough to cover his expenses for his.
I'm covering I'm covering the expenses of eBay. I'm not covering the $300 a month in. I actually am. I actually made enough this month to pay for everything. But then I couldn't buy myself something pretty. So, yeah.
Anyway,
I got to get my average sales price up from $7 profit to $30 profit. That's what I need to do.
I gotta get more, and that's why I went back to listing, because the month of February, folks, I really did not list that much. I did not do that much. I just kept things, I kept things held together, and I still managed to pay and cover all my expenses, which is my eBay store, my eBay AI lister, and my AI composition stuff. So, because I have 3 different things now that are coming off of my eBay expenses.
Yeah, so
Getting
like the last
10
31
added
days,
things to put up.
the last 31 days I've sold 31 things. My average sale price is $16.58.
You didn't tell us what your favorite sale was.
My favorite sale, which I just clicked off of, was 8 Little League baseball pins, Coopertown, from the 2000s mixed states. I sold 2 of them to one person. So even though they were $14.95 item, so that's $30 plus then shipping, it ended up being a $44 sale after all the fees and everything, $30.69. The label cost me $5.50. So I'll end up making $25 off that sale.
Sweet.
That's what I need to do.
Yeah, and that's good.
Yeah.
You know, there's the thing, folks. I have looked at pins, and don't just sit here and go with the items that Ben's and I sell as well. Don't, you know, a lot of people say, well, why don't I just sell exactly what these sellers are selling? Well,
Don't.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. Ben's was selling a ton of hats.
Oh yeah.
I got a hold of some hats. I listed them. I only had like 2 or 3. They didn't sell worth a crap. And it wasn't, and I was like, Ben's, is there something wrong with these hats? He's like, no, they're like $10, $15 hats. They're not bad hats. But the problem was I wasn't a hat seller.
Yeah, and yeah, you get in whatever your store is selling, I find. I don't know if that's true. But I think even if you're an everything seller, like right now I'm selling crap loads of comic books. Because but I also have 2,500 comic books listed.
Yeah.
So.
That's what you got. That goes back to our slogan, you sell what you list, folks. But the problem, too, is if you've got a category, like I have a category right now, I have 2 items that are delisted. And what I mean by that is they're sitting there unsold. They're going to stay unsold. I need to do that with the Funko Pop, too, but I just haven't brought to heart yet. But if you've got a category that's only got like 2 or 3 items in it, it's kind of hard for eBay. The algorithm doesn't really pick that up as much.
Yeah.
So you need to, and when you're first starting, that's fine. Just list as much as you can, sell as much as you can, but start to see what you like to sell, what you want to learn about, because you need to know about them. The things you're going to sell, you need to know about them.
Yeah.
People are going to ask you questions, but what we're saying is he's selling comic books. He's got a lot of comic books listed.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm selling a lot
my
of
90-day
sockets.
total is crap, but it's better than what it was in Savannah.
I sell a lot of sockets because I have a lot
Yeah.
listed. My wife asked
Exactly.
me, she said, do you really sell clothes? Yes, I sell a lot of clothes because honestly, I have a lot of clothes listed.
Yeah.
I'm not selling as many pocket watches anymore because my pocket watch inventory has gotten down to not much.
And it's the stuff that's been listed forever, and it's the stuff that didn't sell to begin with. So that's the
Right.
other thing you got to look at. Like with my comic books, I've sold lots of the comic books I've listed, and I'm still selling them. But at some point, because I paid like 7 cents a piece for them, and I'm selling them for $6.95 and up. At some point, they're going to not sell anymore. So you got to figure out when you do a buy like that. If you send 7 cents a piece for 1,000 things, what's that? $70? I don't know. Yeah. So you got to make your money back on the ones that sell. So no, I don't know what it is. Mathematically, my brain's not working. But if I sell one for $7, that pays for 100 of them. At some point, there's going to be 500 of them that I just donate, throw out, do whatever with, because they're just never going to sell, because I don't know anything about it and I just listed everything. So when you do those big buys like that, you got to keep an eye out that, hey, you're not going to make all the money. Like, if you have 1,000 items that you list at $7 a piece, you might sell 20% of that, right? You're not going to get to $7,000. You might eventually. Everything sells eventually. But I don't think on the comic books everything sells eventually. And when you do bulk buys, you got to pull I got to figure out.
I think they do. It's just here's the thing. So why does Walmart? And this is the kind of thing you got to think about, folks. And this is where Ben's and I are talking about. Ben's deals with this in his job. I deal with it in mine. You reach a point. Why does Walmart have a clearance section?
Yeah.
It's because those items have gotten to where they just need to get them off their shelves. They need to get off their shelf. They need to get off their balance sheet. They need to be gone. And so you reach a point where you're like, look, this is, and then, I do agree. Everything sells eventually. We've said that since the very beginning. It does. But, I mean, eventually, I could hold up anything here on my desk or whatever, grab 1,000 items behind me. Eventually, that item is not going to sell.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And that's what Ben's is talking about here. And so sometimes you just go, should I get rid of it? Should I keep it?
Yeah, so you got to start thinking. I've thought, I have all this space, but my space is full. At some point, you have to go, wait a minute. How can I make, and the way I'm looking at it now is, how can I make, so I sold 100 items in the last 90 days for an average of $18, sales price. So $1,800 in 90 days. If I was selling things that were $50 a piece, and that $18 includes shipping and all the other stuff, right? So if I was making $50 profit, I probably could have sold like 8 things and made the same amount of money. So that's where I am.
You got to think about things. So I'm just looking at mine right here. Okay,
Yeah.
So folks, you got to love this. So from February, for the first quarter, as I did it for the first quarter, I did $445.38 so far for the first quarter. That's not a great deal amount of money, but I'm up 81%. Now remember, I had a better January, and I did, and February was pretty much right there. I had a little bit better February. So far, I'm having a whole lot better March than I normally do. But come down here and you do that, and you go, okay, so. And if I break it down, let's just look at the 30-day total, because the last 31 days has been $236. And out of that, $10 or $11 is taxes, $62 is eBay fees, $67 is shipping labels, which has left me for a grand total of $95.
Yeah.
So even though I'm up 81%, I need to get things going more. I need to list more. I need to sell more. I need to, because you're not going to make, this is hobby money.
We're playing.
Here's the thing. Ben's and I both know, based on where I'm at in the math, and based on where he's at in the math and the things we're doing, and if you go back and listen to all of our stuff all the way through, here's what we know. This is scalable. It's all scalable. So in other words, if you want to make an extra $500, We can look at the, like if we go, oh, we want to make our money for our vacation this year. We can look at how far back we need to start, what we need to do, and how we need to list so we can make that money. Because we've been keeping records on this stuff long enough to know, here's what I need to do X. And that's what we're hoping to help you guys do. So if you go, oh, I'm just started listening to these guys, or I've been listening to guys for a while, I think I'm going to start, or I've been starting, but I'm trying to figure out why my sales aren't where they're supposed to be. Are you scalable yet? Have you gotten to the point where you can look at your numbers and go, here's what I need to do. I'm at Y, I need to get to Z. Here's where X is. So, and I think that's a big thing to know. Biz and I both will tell you, if you're not listing, your business, Ben's has got enough to where he is selling, but he's not selling like he was.
No, no, no. I'm not making
mean,
near I was, like $1,000 a week. Oh, I unplugged myself. You hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. I can still hear you before.
Huh. Yeah, I'm going through the wrong thing.
Yeah, I think you are.
Uh,
Anyway, while he works on that, so there's just some information for you folks. So, we like to give you guys as much information as we possibly can, and just kind of keep you going and give you. Yeah, there's going to be some things you're going to be like, I could do that better. Yeah, obviously, there's always room for improvement, no matter what. Yeah, we hear you great, but if you just keep doing, I think you'll be fine. I think hope we added to your reselling, and if we're not, hope we added to your day or your whenever you're listening to us. Apparently, if you're in the shower or doing number two, yeah, whatever, whatever you're doing, we hope that we hope we added some enjoyment to your life. This is gone terrible. We need to stop right now. We're pulling the